What's up? What is up, everybody? Oh, we got Angie walking in here now. She is going to join me. Hey, do you have our account on your phone? Yeah. Yes. If not, here, use mine. Can you start a live on my phone? Okay, your
my phone is amazing.
She has the new. What do you have? What is it?
I have the iPhone 12 Pro Max. You can take videos in 4K, which we just found out this week.
It actually looks really good.
It's insane.
Yeah, it probably looks as good as this camera, honestly.
Oh, for real.
Except the lens. The lens, you just need a good lens. Your Wi-Fi. Yo, what is up with your phone? Hey, look, Angie just has bad service. That's all it is. So
yes, I do have bad service.
Start a live through my phone.
Why don't I have internet here in the church?
Start a live through my phone.
Look, this is what happens when you brag.
There you go. That's what happens. Well, hey guys,
Did you want it on us?
Yeah, it can be on us. We hope you've been having an amazing week so far. We're coming to the end of a week, and Princess is here, and she's wearing a Star Wars shirt, and that's amazing. By the way, have you guys seen all the Mandalorian episodes? You have?
It's amazing.
Have you? If so, who's your favorite character of the Mandalorian? Besides
the baby
Mando and Baby Yoda. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. I don't know how to say your name, but if you're here, join us on YouTube for all the fun and good
Zane
stuff.
just dropped an album, and it is amazing.
It's hard to handle, Christian.
Yo, are you hating on my phone?
Just a little bit.
Let me hold my phone then.
It's because you have your wallet on there.
Hello, people. Renee. Oh, it's right here. Hello. Oh, man. Look at what do you call those? My runaway hairs? My flyaways?
He's a runaway.
My flyaway hairs? They're everywhere. I look crazy.
Speaking of hairs, y'all should really see Princess's hair.
Hey, guys, go to YouTube to watch this live. And yeah, go to YouTube. So leave this Instagram live and go to our YouTube
for the full and grand experience.
Yes.
Oh, my frizz.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen all of you.
It's been like 2 months.
2 months?
Yeah, because the last time we came, I think it was in November.
I think it was longer than 2 months for me. I feel like
it's the same.
Has it been 2 months?
Because when you left.
I don't know. I don't know. Hey, everybody, leave this live and go to the YouTube live. Yes, we have 3 minutes.
3 minutes till we're starting?
Yeah, 3 minutes till we're starting.
How long was it? He said 10 minutes.
No, it wasn't 10 minutes until... Wait, what? What are you talking about?
He said that we were going to be 10 minutes before it started.
Yes, but we got here already...
Oh, 5 minutes late. Oh,
yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, there was a lot of traffic.
It took literally like an hour for us to get here, and usually only takes like half of that.
Yeah, and then we were gonna get canes, and we pulled up.
But then we wanted to be on time.
Yeah, we actually pulled up to the drive-thru, and there was mad cars, so we were like...
It was like Chick-fil-A packed.
Yeah.
But they don't have service like Chick-fil-A.
I was like, let's leave. And
Huh?
You
did not say let's leave. I was like, Christian, this is not happening.
You said it's 6:57. I said, what are we doing here? I said, let's go. Yeah. Hey, if you're watching this live, leave this one and go to the...
We have 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Join us on
2
YouTube.
minutes.
We have some really exciting things.
So what was your favorite thing to do this week? What'd you do?
Favorite thing to do?
Yeah, what was your favorite thing to do this week?
My favorite thing to do was boxing.
Boxing?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, so check this out. Oh yeah, like let's see.
I'm not gonna throw a punch for real, Christian.
You don't know how to jab?
I do know how to jab.
So we bought some boxing gloves and some wraps. So we were wrapping our hands and using boxing gloves and
we didn't like actually fight. It's not yet.
Yeah, we didn't spar. Is this supposed to be on one? Do I got it right? Yeah. Yeah, we didn't spar. We were just training.
Yeah.
So we've been learning some techniques. We're learning how to jab and learning how to
the right
throw
way
some punches.
To do it. Like you're not gonna just
Oh, what's the right way? You want to show these people the right way?
I'm not gonna.
She said the right way. All right, you got 1 minute to show them the right way.
It's just really fun. That's it. No, I'm not gonna punch for real.
Just punch for
I
real.
can't punch you for real.
Okay.
And I like to do it like, a little strength. It feels really good when you punch the pads and stuff.
She goes pretty hard. Yeah.
He was showing me like the right way to do it because I didn't know. It's like your feet and everything are involved with it, but it's really cool.
Are we low-key matching right now?
What?
Kind of like low-key, right?
It's like, yeah.
I didn't even know what you were going to wear, though.
I didn't know what you.
Yeah, what are you wearing? You wearing some
I'm wearing what I wore to work.
Custom Nike 95s.
Oh, 20 seconds. 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
But
all right.
Yeah, I'm wearing some nice shoes and pants and sweater.
Yeah.
So this week was pretty fun.
Nice.
Christian's got some cool stuff going. Oh, okay.
9.
You'll have to find out about
5,
that stuff later.
6.
Enjoy the show.
4, 1.
4-1.
The hardest thing to do is to wake up. I regret waking up. I hate the rush of that gut-wrenching ache settling at the bottom of my chest every time I open my eyes. It's the same pain, just a different day. The days meshed together in 2 weeks with no difference in sight. The nights before, I had cried myself to sleep. When I look in the mirror, the giant of unworthiness stares right back at me. The question of, why am I not good enough, haunts me and echoes through the halls of my mind. Under dark, stained, sleepless eyes, my brokenness pierces right through me. Complete and utter exhaustion. The pain simmers through my veins day after day. I wish that I could erase all the pain, but I just can't shake the feeling off. It always comes back for another cycle of torment. I'm sick of trying to fight for myself. The depths of my soul crave for more than just pain. I long for the light at the end of the tunnel that everyone keeps preaching to me about, but where is it? Does this strike a chord with you? Do you feel the tug at your heart too? Do you feel your giant speaking to you like it does to me? What if I told you of a God who meets us where we are? At our dead ends, sleepless nights, racing minds, aching hearts, and numb feelings. What if I told you someone was up for all of that? All of our mess, all of our giants. You know, the giant who keeps us up until 3 in the morning, the giant who plagues our days with crippling anxiety, the ones who shatter our dignity with doubt, the ones who strike at the very core of who we are and how we think about ourselves. This God wants every single ounce of what you're carrying right now. I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of these giants taunting me. I want them gone. Do you? Hey guys, what's up? It's Miko, and we're back in 2021 for Goliath Must Fall. We are finishing up the book, and we are on chapter 7. Thank you guys. And we are talking about addiction this week. So it's a pretty big topic, to be honest.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, where do I even start, guys? I feel like there was so much to say.
Yes.
Like, this chapter was definitely eye-opening. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, what do you guys think of when you hear addiction? Like, what comes to mind?
Oh my God. I think for me, I've always thought of addiction as something like this, like big, like bad, thing like alcohol, like drugs and like stuff like that. That's usually what I think about when I hear the word of addiction, you know. But I think that this chapter really brought out that like the little things that can be like addiction, and you don't think of it as addiction. So I think that's what I really liked about this chapter for sure.
Yeah,
I do too.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Anything stood out to you? Or like what comes to your mind? Like, do you question like what addiction is? Like, or is it pretty like clear in your mind? Like, I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, okay. Well, definitely when I first heard the title of this chapter, it was kind of like, ooh. Like when Gano asked me in the group chat, and he's like, hey, do you want to do chapter 7? Addiction must fall. And I was like, ooh. Because that one just hits close for me. Because my father's an alcoholic. Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah, when I think of addiction, I think, alcoholics, drug abusers, just like big stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I was reading this chapter, I was like, ooh, I have a whole bunch of little tiny addictions, just little ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's crazy because like you always like think it's like, oh, I don't have any addictions, you know, like I don't do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
But then like reading this chapter, you're like, oh, like I actually might be a little bit like addicted to this or that.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy to me. And I think especially especially for me, growing up, I've always heard like whenever people would go talk to you at school about addiction, you know, it was always like they always made it like this big thing. It's like don't do this, don't do drugs, don't do this, and you're just, and it's it becomes like in a way like a stereotype because it's like it's like you hear addiction and it's like you never think you're in the wrong because you're like, oh, I don't do drugs, you know, I don't drink alcohol, you know, stuff like that, and it's like, oh, I'm not addicted to anything, like I'm good, you know.
Yeah.
But then like you read this and you're like,
Wait a minute.
like wait a minute, it's like like am I possibly addicted to something that I didn't
gets you
think?
thinking.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It says here, it was talking about like a few of like the addictions that we could have. And one of the first ones the author was talking about is how entertainment can be an addiction.
Yeah.
And when I thought about that was like so true because I've definitely caught myself just mindlessly like watching Netflix or like scrolling on my phone on social media, and I'm just like, you know, like what's the point? Like what am I trying to fill?
Yeah.
You know,
that's so true. Like sometimes I would just grab my phone and I'll just start scrolling, and then like I like not even focus on what I'm doing. I'm just like doing it, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, what am I even doing? You know, and stuff like that. And I think like even the beginning of the chapter when it starts talking about like how he saw like a family that's all sitting down on their phones, it's like our generation has become this like thing where we're all addicted to like our electronics, you know, like no one really spends time as a family anymore. Like you're out as a family eating and it's like everyone's like doing something on their phone.
different.
Yeah. And it's like no one even spends time anymore because like everyone's like more like, oh, like this is better, you know, this is like I'd rather be doing this than like talking, you know, stuff like that. And especially like now, like with the pandemic and everything, it's like our electronics have become a lot more, like a lot of people use them a lot more now because it's like, you know, it's like it's
easier to get distracted.
Yeah, it's easier because it's like our online school, like you can have your camera off and like be like,
that's true.
Just be like doing whatever, and then like class is over, late meeting, you know, stuff like that. Like you can honestly, because you're trying to just fill time because you're like, oh, I have nothing else to do, so I'm just gonna do whatever, you know.
Yeah. Going off of that, the author mentions how we specifically as a generation are an addicted generation. So I wanted to ask you guys, what ways do you think we are an addicted generation?
Honestly, I feel like we always have to be doing something. Like everything's so fast paced. You know what I mean? Like no one ever wants to like wait for anything anymore. It's like
that's true.
Like I feel like we all want everything like this, and it's like no, because like if you're like doing something and then like the Wi-Fi slows, like oh my gosh, like this is taking forever to load, and it's like 10 seconds. It's literally like 10 seconds, but because it wasn't like 1 or 2 seconds, you're like, oh my goodness, like when is this gonna load? Or like
that is so true.
Like other things like that, like that we always like we're so addicted to like wanting things now.
Yeah,
you know, no one wants to wait anymore because like like when you want to call someone, you just call them and automatically, you know, you want to get in touch with someone, you can send them like an email, gets it like this, stuff like that. It's like everyone wants something fast paced, you know?
I so agree with that, just because I like everything now.
No,
And it's addicting. If you don't get it, it's not good.
Yeah, you get angry. People get angry. They're like, oh my goodness, like Amazon Prime. You don't get like you you order something. It's like next day delivery. It's like it better get here tomorrow. It gets here 2 days later. Why didn't it get here yesterday? It's like stuff
That's
like
so
that.
true.
I said I would get it yesterday, but no, I had to wait another 24 hours just to get my makeup.
Exactly.
Like really?
Exactly. Yes.
And the worst thing I think is whenever you're like looking for something, you're like, Amazon has to have it, and they must have it with the next day delivery.
Yes,
if
true.
they don't, it's maddening. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That is true. So Esperanza, do you think of another way, like how we are an addicted generation?
I definitely agree with everything Jocelyn said and how we need things. I don't know why I made that face, but how we like
No, you're good.
always want things. But I also think that we can't be still. Like we can't not have something to do.
That's true.
And even if there is something to do, it has to be something we enjoy.
Yeah. That's so true. And I think a lot of people, like you see it a lot when everything's shut down. Because people are like, what am I going to do
That is
all this
true.
time at my house? It's like not even like, oh, I'm going to spend like more time with my family. It's like, what am I going to do here? Like I'm in my house. What am I supposed to do?
I think
Yeah.
that's about the only time. Well, it's about most of the time me and my family spend time together is when my stepdad shuts off the Wi-Fi. And then we'll all literally walk into the living room like, did the Wi-Fi stop working? Like, what happened? And then we're kind of just stuck there having a conversation. But the thing is, it is to all of us, it seems like we're stuck. It's not like we're willing to be here.
Yeah. That's so true.
That was deep.
Yeah. That was.
You got me thinking.
That's pointers right there. I'm going to shut down Wi-Fi at home.
Wow.
You're giving him ideas.
Well, because he has an app that goes to the Wi-Fi where he can turn off even just one of our devices.
You're giving all the parents out there like pointers.
Yeah. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
All right.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like we don't know how to be still.
Yeah.
And we're always like what you're saying, we're always trying to fill like that space or that void that we feel, you know?
Yeah.
And it talks about that in the book where we're trying to fill a God-shaped hole
Yeah.
with like,
With the world.
yeah.
But it's not gonna fill because it's God shaped. So
Yeah.
only something like I think it was said like only God-sized faith can fill God-sized like voids or something like that. At some point, I don't remember where, but like it says something like that because that's where it starts talking about addictions. That's like what we try to use to like fill like those voids instead of trying to fill it with God.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So let me ask you this. What things do you think our generation is most addicted to?
I think honestly I know for me, like whenever I was reading this and when it said accomplishments can be a drug, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That like hit me. Like it literally, like I just stopped and I was like, how many times do I go to school, you know, and I'm like, I have to get a good grade on this. Like I have to. It's like, why do you have to? Like it's not because I'm like, oh, I just I want to get like a good grade or whatever. It's more like it's at a point that's like, if I don't like, I used to cry if I didn't have like a certain grade that I wanted.
Yeah.
And it was like, when I saw that and I was like, in a way, like I want, like, it's not because of just like, oh, I want to do good. It's more like, it's like feeling something else. It's like, oh, if I don't do this, like what's going to happen to me? Like
Can I ask you, does it give you validation in yourself?
Yeah, because I feel like if I'm doing good, it's like, then like I'm doing good, you know, like that means that I'm successful.
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, stuff like that. And I think that until like recently I've started noticing it more, or like noticing like that it's okay to like not have an
Everything,
100,
yeah.
you know, not because like it's like I used to think like if I don't get this grade, like my parents are gonna get mad or they're not gonna
I
like
think less of you.
yeah, because like I always like I had the best grades in my like out of my whole family, like out of my brothers, and it was always like, oh, I have to have straight A's, I have to like, and then until like recently, I'm like, I have like if I have a B now, I'm like, okay, like
That's okay.
it's okay, like you know, like
I did the best I could.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I got out of
That's
it.
what I'm saying. Like it's not like I'm not trying.
Yeah.
It's like I'm putting my work into it, and if that's what I'm getting, then okay.
yeah.
And it's like it is hard to like you know just be like okay like what
No, yeah.
but like it's like when I saw that, it like hit like it just hit like me, like I was like, dang God, you're talking to me right now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Esperanza, what do you think our generation is most addicted to?
Definitely electronics, but that's also like I would say, I hate that I'm saying this, but it's like a right away. When someone thinks right away, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's kind of like whenever someone sees this generation, oh, they're always on their phones, they're always on something, like
That's true.
it's expected for our generation to be on the phone or to be on an electronic.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. You hear a lot of like older people like, oh yeah, you younger kids are always on your phone. When I was your age, I didn't have that. Like,
Yeah, they always come at us for
I know,
that.
I'm like, whoa,
yeah.
it's not my fault. You don't have to accuse me.
Yeah, it's true. It's kind of like already like expected of us, you know?
Yeah.
That's so
yeah,
true.
that is true.
You know what the sad part is? Is that there's more adults addicted to phones than than some of the kids.
Yeah, that's true.
You see a lot of grandmas just playing games in their phones.
Candy Crush
Yeah.
on their phones.
Facebook, you know?
My grandma loves solitary. Loves it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing, Grandma? Oh, I'm playing solitary.
Oh, nice.
You winning? Of course, mija. Of course.
that's so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think so too. I agree on both of those things, both
Yeah.
of those addictions.
Yeah. I think also something like the book says is like, especially for our generation, it says, do you know what the most widespread addiction out there is today?
Don't say it.
The approval of others. I was like, that
That is.
so true.
I got a whole note on that one.
Because it's like,
Ooh, tell us.
yeah, good.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, tell us your notes.
Dive into it.
Well, okay, when I first read it, I was going through it. I was like, yeah, okay, like these are understandable. Like I understand why these are seen as an addiction. So when it first said that our generation needs approval of others, I was like, why did that one have to come up?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. You're trying to point out to me my addictions, but like, you didn't have to go that far. But I think I'm trying to word what I'm going to say. I definitely think I need approval of others,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't say it's more approval than it is acceptance. For
Like
me.
you want to feel accepted.
Yeah.
I got
I
that.
want people to see that, like, hey, I'm doing this, and
Yeah.
like I'm
To be recognized.
yeah. Like because okay, sometimes I get a little sassy, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, say what you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
And that was another thing I went into. It was like, you could say you don't care all you want, but
Deep
You
down.
care.
yeah, you want their approval.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna stop reading you. Like, if you're gonna keep doing this, I'm gonna stop reading your chapter. And it's just, I always knew that I needed people's approval. But the way that it went into it, like
Yeah.
why we need it, that is
Yeah.
what I was like.
Yeah, I definitely feel like our generation is just like everyone always like I think we all just always want to like you never want to, it's sad because no one wants to stand out anymore. Like everyone wants to just like, you want to do what everyone else is doing because you don't want to look bad. It's like, oh, because if I don't do this, then like they're not going to like me and stuff like that. And it's like, you like, I know for me, I definitely always, I always want people to like me. It's like, you don't want to go somewhere and be like, no one likes you, you know, you want to have people around you. You want like, and it's like, you don't even realize like that it is an addiction, you know? And like, I love how like afterwards it says, if you whispered, well, I'm not addicted to this, and you actually are, because you try to reassure yourself like, oh, no,
we try to justify it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you want to like, no, I'm not like that.
I could never be addicted to that.
Yeah, and actually says here, like, the people who scream that out the most, like, struggle with that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like the more that you emphasize that you don't care or that you don't, like, I don't know, mind it, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, in reality, it really
It bothers you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That definitely hit me because I do that.
Yeah.
I can act like I don't care about things, and I actually care a lot.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see that in myself. It also says here, like, it was just naming like a whole bunch of things that we could be addicted to.
Yeah.
And it was talking about money. It could be drugs. It could be porn. It could be shopping. It could be adrenaline.
Yeah.
It could be, some people are addicted to pain. And some people are addicted to people. And in that way, it's where we need the approval of others, like he was saying. And I definitely can see that in myself too. I don't know. I kind of like, I wouldn't say like change myself for other people, but I'm always like reading people, I guess.
Yeah.
To like, what's that word? Not transform, but adjust myself, I guess.
Yeah.
Just so that I can like fit in, or like, especially for a new kid. I've been a new kid like plenty of times.
Me too.
And so I think that is where it's rooted in, also in my life at least.
Yeah. That's true.
But yeah, it says here, I wanted to jump to another like part of the book. It's called We Are All Vulnerable. So it says here, underneath any addiction or our foundational need for approval is a larger question. It's this: what problem is occurring in my life that I need to mask the pain or emptiness with an addiction?
Yeah. That I like highlighted that too, and it's like, when I like read that, I thought about it. It's like, that's so true. Like, people sometimes they don't like necessarily want to be addicted, but instead of being vulnerable, they'd rather cover it up with something else. Like, I'd rather have people see me for this than see what really, like what is really going on. Because it's like it's worse for people to see the real me than see me for this. Because like, it's just like, it's like a mask, you know? It's like it's in a way protecting themselves from people seeing like what truly is underneath everything, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I was just about to say that. It's definitely a defense mechanism so that we protect ourselves. It says here, oh, my bad. That like our addictions can kind of like be a symptom or like a cause from something else. A cause that lies underneath the surface of like what we struggle with. And it says here, the root cause of most addictions is pain.
Yeah.
And like, we all go through pain.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see how, and it was definitely interesting to me to learn like where addictions come from. Like, they come from like us trying to cover something up. And especially pain. Like, I know I've been through painful situations, and I guess you can get addicted to a certain mindset, maybe.
Yeah.
Especially our generation, I feel like we can get addicted to a lot of different mindsets that can like negatively affect us.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Like, I feel like you just never want anyone to know you're not okay. It's like you always want to seem like this perfect, you know, Christian that doesn't go through anything, you know. It's like, oh yeah, I'm living this perfect life, but it's like because you don't want to show like that you're hurting or anything, because it's like like it says, like no one wants to be vulnerable anymore.
Yeah.
It's like everyone wants to show like as if their life was perfect, but behind closed doors, it's not. Yeah.
I get that. It says here, it's basically talking about like the symptoms of our addictions, right? And it says here, we always try to run to something that promises relief. We feel we need to cope somehow, so we return to the thing we think will make us feel better. Maybe that addiction actually does deliver relief for a short time. The addiction gives a buzz, a high, a thrill, a rush, but then the addiction lets us down big time. And we go even lower than before. And that just makes us like more hungry for like that relief.
Yeah. And I feel like that's how it becomes an addiction, because like the first time it's like you do it because you're like, oh, this is gonna give me relief, and then when it lets you down, it's like you need like a stronger dose of it, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse from that first time, that it just grows into an addiction that it's like without this I will literally like die, you know. Like like I can't, like if I stop doing this, then like my life is over, you know. So yeah, that was very true. Like I read that and I was like, dang, like it's crazy how like how just like trying to like hide something once can lead into something like a lot bigger. Yeah.
I get that. It talks about like how we should look at it. I feel like it says here we need to look past the symptom and examine the cause. So we have to ask ourselves the questions. Like, what's the source of our chaos in our lives? What's the source of, like, our pain?
Yeah.
Or, like, what's the source of why we do the things we do? Yeah. Or maybe, like, the bad patterns or bad habits that we have. We really have to, like, get real with ourselves and really, like, ask ourselves, like
what am
really,
like, what am I trying to feel? Like, what really is hurting me that, like, I'm doing this to try to cover it up.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I think it's so messy that you don't even remember like why you started doing what you're doing in the first place. Because it's just become this routine, you know? And it's like you don't even remember why you started in the first place. It's just like, oh, I'm already doing this. You know, it's part of my everyday life. It's like it's comfortable. Like what we talked about. It's comfortable. And then once it's comfortable, like
why move?
It's gonna be
exactly like why move. So like that's when you have to get uncomfortable and get real with yourself and be like, okay, what am I trying to like feel, you know? Like what's the cause of all of this?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I've been there, to be honest, where I'm like, I've been through pain and I'm like almost addicted to it in a way where like if it's not there anymore, it's like, wait, what? And if I feel happy and it's like, wait, this doesn't feel right.
Like something wrong, like something, like what's coming. Like I know that there's been times in experience, like if I'm happy, it's like, what's next? You know, like what?
Yeah, what's the next thing that's going to let me down? Yeah,
exactly.
I feel that.
I think going off that, when you were saying that pain's kind of an addiction, I think I can definitely agree with that pain is one of my addictions because now if I'm in pain or if I get hurt or someone hurts me, it's doesn't hurt as much or it's normal. So it's like, oh, this happened. Like, let's add it to the
list.
I think that's definitely one that was like, when he was saying that, I was like, no, like that's not like that can't be one. Like how is pain an addiction? Like nobody likes pain.
It's true.
But
that is true. Addictions, we don't always have to like them, like you said, with pain.
So when I was reading that, it was like usually it's either when someone says something or something happens and it hurts my feelings, or it's kind of like, dang, that just happened. But now it's like more, or it's becoming more physical. Like when I roll my ankle, or when I broke my foot, that one was crazy. But it's because now I always catch myself picking at my fingers. And later, if I'm like, when I wash my hands or something, I'm like, ow, like, why did I do that?
Yeah, I know there was like a certain time in my life that like I felt if I was like happy, something was coming. Like I'm like, there's no possible way that
the other shoe's gonna drop.
Yeah, I was like, there's no possible way that this is actually like I'm actually happy. You know, it's like something is coming. Like I could never accept the fact that I was happy. I was always like, I was so paranoid. Like, what's next? Like what
do you have coming for me?
Yeah,
now?
like what's gonna hurt me next? What's gonna cause me pain next? And it was like I could never accept the fact that I was just simply happy. You know, that simply like life is going good. I was good. It was more like I was just so paranoid that I could never just enjoy it. Yeah, it was just like, what's next? What's gonna hurt me next? What is gonna cause me pain next? And it was like, it's tiring. Yeah, it's exhausting because it's like. You just can't accept the fact that you're okay, you know? And it's like, it's exhausting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I can definitely relate to you where like, I'm addicted to pain where, like I said before, if I'm happy and like you said, I don't accept it really. And I'm almost like, wait, the pain's not here. So I need to go back.
Why am I trying to make it like it's happening? Like, why am I trying to make something out of nothing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes we don't want to forget the pain because we don't want to get hurt again. So it's like,
I feel like that could be why we're addicted to pain also.
Yeah. Because it's like, if I'm already hurting and it just continues, it's kind of like, it just kind of becomes numb.
And we get comfortable there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're just kind of like numb to it. You're just like, you know, it's like, it's already here. Like just... You know,
go for it.
Why fight it?
Yeah, because like whenever something's good and then it gets bad, it feels like you're like it's worse.
Yeah, because it's so much worse
than whenever it's just like bad after bad after bad after bad. Because you're like, oh, this is already bad, and then something else is bad, and you're like, oh, you know, I'm already kind of like in this routine that's like nothing really good is happening. But when you're here and then everything just kind of falls here, you're just like, it breaks you. Like it literally breaks you. Yeah. So it's like sometimes I feel like that's why we can become addicted to our pain, because like I don't want to be here and come here. I'd rather just be here and just continue.
Yeah, that's a really good point that you brought up, to be honest. Like, I definitely didn't think of it like that. Now that you say it, and it's really like eye-opening just to hear like both of your viewpoints on it. So I really appreciate you saying that, to be honest. We're gonna go on and talk about. Oh, it talks about David, right? So Saul tried to basically armor David. So you put like a bunch of like his own armor on David, trying to like buff him up, I guess.
Protect him.
Yeah, protect him, because David was like this scrawny little kid to Saul and to everybody. And I guess Saul was trying to justify or try to make up for David's weakness that he saw, I guess. But David, he basically like didn't need it. He didn't want it. And I feel like I can't imagine like the confidence that David had just to like go in his own skin and his own vulnerability out to like fight Goliath.
Like when it says like that is possibly that like Saul was trying to unmask David, because it's because it's like, you're wearing my armor and it doesn't fit you. Like, you really think you can go out there without like skills like me, or with stuff that I've done out there to fight a giant? It's like, if I can't do it, you can't possibly do it, you know? And it's like, when it said that, it's like he was trying to make David feel vulnerable. And I think that's what the world tries to do with us. It's like they want to make us feel vulnerable so we can give in to what they're trying to give us, you know? And it was like, and it's like, if we couldn't do it, then you can't do it. It's like, just, you know, just give up, you know?
Yeah, because when I was reading that, when it was saying you are not able. When Saul told him that, I'm like, when I first read that, I was like, he's trying to fix your problem. He could just go back home, leave y'all to deal with it, and just let it, like, that's your problem.
Like, it would have been, it would have been victory for him regardless.
Yeah.
Like, regardless who did it, it would have been victory for them, but he didn't want that.
Yeah, I agree. Going back to like what you said and like unmasking or Saul unmasking like David and his vulnerability. What kind of armor do you think we put on, or like what ways do we protect ourselves, or we cover up our own vulnerability? The way we mask it, either like generational or personally. Like,
I think honestly for me, I just try to make everything seem as it's like as I'm like everything's okay, you know, like I don't want, like, for me, I'm the type of person that I always feel like if I tell someone like what I'm going through, I feel like I'm putting it on them, you know? And it's like, I don't want to, like, in a way, it's like, I don't want to burden them with this. Yeah. It's like, you know, I'll just be like, oh yeah, how are you doing? Oh, I'm great. You know, I'm
good.
Life's great. And inside it's like, you really? Yeah. Like, I think a lot of us do that, you know? It's like, you just want to be like, you're just like, I'm okay. I'm great. You know, I'm perfect.
Yeah. I agree. I do that too. I try to pretend like everything's fine.
Yeah, no, definitely.
In reality, it's like not fine at all.
Yeah.
I wanted to move on, and it says here how differently we can look at of our vulnerability, where we can have strength in being vulnerable. I think it's more Grace Addicts, Please section. It talks about, actually, we can talk about like Adam and Eve, right?
Oh yeah.
They were, when God created them, right? They were naked, and they weren't like ashamed.
They felt no shame.
Yeah. And they were like there with all their vulnerability, and they were okay.
Yeah.
You know, so that's like how we can like be in God's presence. And I feel like a lot of times we struggle with that, and it's a real struggle. Yeah. Because we're constantly like trying to fill, you know, that void with addictions and everything.
And I feel like we try to hide that from God. Like, that's what Adam and Eve tried doing. They tried hiding from God. Like, God wouldn't know. It's like, no, we're just hiding because we're naked. He's like, how did you know? Like, how did you know you guys were naked? And that's like, and it's like, we try to hide him from God, and like, God knows everything already. It's like, you know, and it's like, God clothed them. I think that's something that really sticks out. Like, God clothed them. He gave them. He made them clothed. And I think that's the same thing for us. Like, when we're vulnerable, when we give our vulnerability to Him, it's like He'll cover us with His armor. You know, and like He'll help us get through it. And like you said, like, be strong and being strong and vulnerable at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Another point that it says here is that we need to be grace addicts. So can one of you tell me what that is, or what that means, or what the book said that meant?
What does it say? Oh, yeah. Whenever he was talking about being grace addicts, I think he was going off that like we're able in God. Like, I think he was going based off of that like we need to be like addicted to receiving God's grace, because like we don't, like, sometimes we don't want to accept it. And it's like we don't, but like God's giving us grace regardless. So it's like, why not just take it, you know, and like just like take it all in, and like take it every day, accept His grace, you know.
Yeah. And going off of that, being a grace addict means being vulnerable with God. You know, really like opening up your heart to Him, and like telling Him like whatever it is that's on your mind, or what's stressing you, or what you're worried about, or what you're trying to fill, I guess. And it says here that we should pray and say, I admit it, Lord, I'm weak, I'm vulnerable. This is what's true of me. Jesus, I'm having a hard time right now. Jesus, I feel every open to attack. I am weak, but you are strong. Jesus, by your grace, I can overcome. And I feel like that's really powerful, to like be in God's presence and be vulnerable like that. And how like sometimes it's hard for us to do that. But it says here that we should be attached to the person and the character of Jesus in our addictions. And that really hit me, because that's kind of like the relief, I guess, that we should be getting, or where we should find relief, I guess. It also says here, the greatest lie of all when we're facing our addictions is that we can wage the battle on our own.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times we like want to do everything ourselves,
Yeah.
and that's definitely me.
Yeah.
Where I like to take control of like what I
Yep.
feel, or like what makes me feel better, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, I can definitely agree with that, and that really opened my eyes,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah, something that really also spoke out to me was when it says being a grace addict is a good thing, not a bad thing. As soon as somebody gets too excited about Jesus, we start calling him a Jesus freak, and we act like this is a bad thing. But what we need in the church today are lots and lots more Jesus freaks. Those who say, Jesus, you are my only hope, and I'm clinging to you my whole life long. And when I read that, like, that's true. Like, you don't ever want to be like too open, because like you don't want people to look at you where it's like, oh, like, this is like, what, this person's
Yeah.
like really excited about Jesus.
Yeah.
But it's like, we should be like that. Like, we should be like screaming it, you know, like
Yeah.
showing it in everything we do. Is like giving off the character of Christ in like every single aspect of our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Going off of like being vulnerable, I feel like it says here, freedom happens in the light, in Jesus' light,
Yeah.
where, like we've been saying, being vulnerable is where we find strength. And it says here, until you're okay with being seen as needy or weak, you will never walk in true strength. And that really hit me, because like our generation likes to cover up our vulnerability a lot.
Yeah.
Even like with other people or with our friendships,
Yeah.
or on social media, like we try to act like everything's fine.
Yeah.
But it says here, like in the power of God, we are weak, but we are strong.
Yeah.
And that really definitely hit me.
Yeah, and I think going like, you know how you're saying that like you like to take control, you know, stuff like that. It comes to say that like because of Christ, our giant is done, but we still need the people like around us to help us.
Yeah.
Because like whenever he went back about Lazarus, like okay, Jesus raised Lazarus from the death, but he told the people around him help unwrap him,
Yeah.
and it's like stuff like that, and it's like we as like we need to be able to like feel comfortable enough to be vulnerable with those around us, so that we can all lift each other up. Because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one here that's afraid to be vulnerable, you know. And it's like everyone is, but if we all show it, it's like it will be a lot more comfortable for everyone to just be like, okay, I'm dealing with this, I need you to lift me up.
Yeah.
You know, and like that's what we're here for, you know, to lift each other up, to help each other.
Yeah.
You know, because like we all go through things. It's not like no one's perfect.
Yeah.
You know, so like if we can be vulnerable with each other, it's like, okay, God already defeated what I'm going through, but I still need my brothers in Christ, my sisters in Christ to lift me up and help me through it, continue.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And that's definitely helpful when we're trying to deal with our addictions, right?
Yeah.
And knowing that we're not alone in anything.
Yeah.
So I definitely love how you wrapped it up, to be honest. Like, that was a pretty good wrap up, guys. I don't know about you, but
That's it. We're done. Goodbye.
thank you guys so much for joining with me.
No problem.
Make sure you guys join me for next week. We're talking about chapter 8.
Ooh.
And I will see you next time.
Bye.